You're walking through a quiet Puritan village in New England. It's the late 1600s, and a cold drizzle falls from a grey sky. A few townsfolk linger near the dying glow of a fire in the square. You ask what happened. One man glances at you, then back at the embers. "They burned her," he mutters. "Said she was a witch." The words hang in the damp air, heavy and unfinished. And in that stillness, you feel it, the weight of fear, judgment, and the strange power of belief. How could this happen? Witches couldn't possibly be real, right? Few figures in history have been as feared, revered, and misunderstood as the witch. From ancient folklore to modern pop culture, witches have symbolized everything from malevolent forces to wise healers, embodying humanity's shifting fears, anxieties, and power struggles. The image of the witch is not static. It has been reshaped over centuries, taking on new meanings in different eras and cultures. At its core, the fear of witches has often been a reflection of societal concerns. In times of upheaval, plagues, and political instability, accusations of witchcraft became a convenient way to explain misfortune and target the marginalized. Yet, alongside this fear, there has always been a fascination with the power that witches are believed to possess. The tension between fear and admiration is what makes the witch such a compelling and enduring figure. The concept of witches is ancient, predating the medieval witch hunts by millennia. In early civilizations, magic and supernatural practices were deeply intertwined with religion and governance. Some of the earliest references to witches come from Mesopotamian texts, where they were seen as both malevolent sorcerers and protective shamans. In ancient Egypt, magic, heka, was an accepted part of life, with priests and practitioners performing rituals to ward off evil. The Greeks and Romans had a more complicated relationship with magic, while figures like the Thessalian witches were feared for their ability to manipulate nature and the fates of men. Magical practices were also used for healing and divination. One of the most famous early depictions of a witch-like figure is found in Homer's Odyssey, where Circe, a powerful sorceress, uses her magic to transform men into animals. Unlike later portrayals of witches as purely evil, Circe is a nuanced figure, dangerous yet knowledgeable, feared yet respected. The image of the witch as a malevolent, demonic figure took root in medieval and early modern Europe, reaching its height during the 15th to 17th centuries. The infamous European witch hunts were fueled by a combination of religious fervor, political power struggles, and social paranoia. The publication of the Malleus Maleficarum in 1487 by Heinrich Kramer played a significant role in codifying the belief that witches were agents of the devil. This book served as a manual for identifying, interrogating, and executing suspected witches, leading to the deaths of tens of thousands of people, mostly women but also men, across Europe. Witch trials were often fueled by local conflicts, land disputes, personal grudges, or simply the need for a scapegoat in times of famine, disease, or war. Many accused witches were healers or midwives, their knowledge of herbs and medicine reinterpreted as evidence of dark magic. By the late 17th century, the witch hysteria in Europe had begun to fade, as skepticism grew and legal systems became less willing to accept spectral evidence. However, across the Atlantic, the fear of witches was only beginning to take root. The most infamous case of witch persecution in the American colonies was the Salem witch trials of 1692. What began as a series of strange fits and convulsions among young girls in Salem Village, Massachusetts, quickly escalated into a full-blown crisis. The Puritan colonists, already living in a world of religious strictness and fear of the unknown, saw the devil's hand at work. Accusations spread rapidly, often targeting those who were social outcasts, economically disadvantaged, or otherwise disliked by the community. Much like in Europe, accusations of witchcraft were often used as weapons in personal disputes. The trials resulted in the execution of 20 people, 19 hanged, and one, Giles Corey, crushed to death by heavy stones for refusing to enter a plea. Dozens more were imprisoned, their lives forever altered. The Salem witch trials ended as abruptly as they began. When the hysteria started to spiral out of control, prominent figures, including the governor's wife, were accused, prompting authorities to question the legitimacy of the proceedings. By the time the trials were halted, the damage had been done. Over time, as the Enlightenment era brought a greater emphasis on reason and skepticism, the fear of witches faded, and witch trials became a relic of the past. If you're enjoying this page of the Codex, remember to subscribe down below for more like it. If you have an idea for the next video essay, please reach out with a comment down below so we can check it out, because we love you and we want you to be involved as a community. Now back to the video. The witch has long been a staple of folklore, often depicted as a sinister figure lurking in the woods, like the child-eating crone in Hansel and Gretel, or the vengeful sorceress in Sleeping Beauty. Shakespeare's Macbeth cemented the image of witches as eerie, fate-weaving figures, reflecting societal fears of disorder and the unknown. Over time, literature and pop culture reimagined witches, shifting them from villains to complex and heroic figures. By the late 20th century, witches were no longer just hags in fairy tales. They were teenage spellcasters in Sabrina the Teenage Witch, powerful sisters in Charmed, and modern-day covens in The Craft. Harry Potter introduced an entire society of witches and wizards, normalizing magic as an everyday skill rather than an inherently dark force. Characters like Hermione Granger exemplified intelligence and resourcefulness, challenging the traditional notion of witches as sinister or malevolent. Today, witches remain pop culture icons, appearing in everything from the chilling adventures of Sabrina to American Horror Story. Whether feared or admired, they continue to evolve, reflecting our fascination with power, mystery, and those who challenge the status quo. In recent years, witchcraft has experienced a resurgence, particularly on social media platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Online communities dedicated to modern witchcraft have flourished, promoting everything from tarot readings and spellcasting to herbal medicine and astrology. This digital witch craze has created a paradox. On one hand, it has empowered individuals to explore spirituality outside of traditional religions, while on the other, it has commodified witchcraft, reducing it to aesthetic trends and consumer products. Hashtags like #WitchTalk have popularized simplified, bite-sized versions of ancient practices, often detached from their historical or cultural context. Despite these trends, the popularity of witchcraft in the digital age signals a continued fascination with the unknown, the mystical, and the rebellious. In many ways, today's internet witches echo the historical witch figures of the past. Women and men who sought knowledge outside mainstream power structures and were feared or ridiculed for it. The witch is more than just a supernatural figure. She is a cultural symbol that has adapted to the fears, desires, and power structures of each era. Whether seen as a villain, a misunderstood outsider, or a symbol of wisdom, the witch remains deeply ingrained in our collective imagination. Historically, the fear of witches often masked deeper societal anxieties about power, knowledge, and those who did not fit into the expected order. Today, the fascination with witches continues, whether through popular media, modern spiritual practices, or historical analysis. The witch's story is one of persecution and resilience, making her one of history's most compelling and enduring figures. If you made it this far in the video, we think you probably liked it, so please make sure to subscribe to get a steady stream of endless historic and mythical lore. It will only take you a second. Thanks for subscribing. We'll see you next time.